I'm the founder of the Satara Half Marathon, and we have a long history going back. My own running journey, it started with Hyderabad Marathon. So that's that and some other stories are what we are going to discuss today, and just reminisce about the good old times, and also looking forward towards the future, the upcoming editions of Hyderabad and Satara.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. I'm sure that this will be a very interesting conversation we both are going to have, and on our journeys together. And it's very interesting as to how Hyderabad and Satara have been, going hand in hand, or as you said, legs in legs, in the last 15 years.
So when it was decided that we are going to have this session today, I went and looked for my medal, because I have my medal rack, and the very first full marathon medal of mine that I happened to have was Hyderabad. So as I've also put on record in my book, so some of you might be knowing that I've written this book called A to Z of Marathon now. It's a translation of my original Marathi book. So I would just like to kick off things by uh, showing you that this is the Marathi book that I first wrote, Marathonza. It was the story of how my running started and how things came about, and Satara Half Marathon came into existence, and how it changed my whole life.
That's
And
right.
and recently, last year, we came out with the English translation of that very book, which is A to Z of Marathon. And as you know, this book has chapters about running, my own running journey and all, A to Z kind of. So A, for example, B for Boston, and C for comrades that way, and also some other things. So the H in that book stands for H for Hyderabad. And so I've also bookmarked the page. It's the ninth chapter in the book. It's H for Hyderabad. So I don't know if you can see this. Yes. So this is
That's
how
right.
this is my very first full marathon that I did, and this is the medal, Rajesh. I don't know if you
Yes, yes.
remember it.
I still remember it. Yes, yes, yes. We have some interesting story. You can see the lanyard, right? So the medals came in late, and we had to
Ah,
finally stitch the lanyards without the name of the sponsor. So
okay.
these were the initial days of our challenges in terms of trying to get, and that's how all of us were running around in the initial days, with some things not right, some things not coming in time. It's been, in fact, it's quite a interesting time for me that I had to airlift all the medals from Delhi with just 3 days to go. And we got it on the Thursday night, and Friday we had two members of ours. There were two women members, Sunita and Anu, who kind of took this initiative to reach out to tailors and managed to get all these medal ribbons put together
Mhm.
for that event. It was just literally a just in time kind of an effort.
So Rajesh, I still remember at the finish line. The important things that I remember about my first full marathon are that Hyderabad, I found it to be a very tough course to be running a first full marathon. I had just started running just about 4 months before that. I had done my first half marathon in April 2012. Got initiated into running in January 2012. I thought that I should start running. Did a half marathon. Then I said, now I'll do a full marathon. And and then though in those days, I don't think there were very many marathons about, because the Mumbai Marathon was just over that year,
That's right.
2014. That would have been like the 10th edition of Mumbai, I guess, 10th or 11th.
Yeah, right. Just I
No,
think
not 10th. It would be just the
2013 was the
7th,
10th.
7th, 7th.
Yeah,
It would be 7th. Yeah.
2004 they started. So
So that would
2013
be
was the 10th
7,
edition.
8, 9. Yeah, yeah. 2012 was the ninth edition of Mumbai. And so when I started looking, I found, I think there was only one other marathon. Auroville would have been around, I guess, that
That's
time.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right.
So I found Hyderabad to be okay. 3 months later, I did it. And at the finish line, I remember along the course, what so many fun things happened. But at the finish line, I remember meeting you. I don't know. I'm sure you don't remember that. So,
Finish line, I know. I don't remember meeting you, but immediately I think I think next year something I receive a call from you that we are planning to organize a marathon,
yes,
and
yes.
and I was
And because at
happy.
that point of time, yeah, yeah, that point of time, I did not know you, but people told me this fellow is the race director, and I remember the hot piping breakfast at the finish line. Even back then, Hyderabad has always been known ever since for the great breakfast that you guys give the runners at the end of the run in the stadium.
Correct, correct.
So,
Yeah.
so that was how my first full marathon happened. I did it in 4 hours and 23 minutes odd, which I was told it was a fairly good time, but I didn't know that at that time. And now I'm looking forward to coming back hopefully this year itself, and doing a sub 4 in Hyderabad now finally.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I will welcome you and the entire team from Satara. We would, and your Satara hills are, it's one way, but in Hyderabad you have it spread all over. That's it. That's the only
Yes,
difference.
rolling
Yes, rolling.
hills.
That's right. Yes.
So, Rajesh, let us bring the audience up to the mark in the sense that we know a bit of the history that goes into the organizing of the Hyderabad Marathon. You know a lot about the history of Satara. Uh, I would like to ask you, just to just for old time's sake and to put it on record again, how did this all happen? Because Hyderabad now people assume, and you being a guy who doesn't really put yourself out there in the sense that on social media, and very many people would not be knowing who are the actual people who make the show go on, run for so many years. But Rajesh Vecha and his team, all of those wonderful people in your team who make this all happen, you guys are not really out there in the sense. People would know Rajesh. Maybe in Hyderabad, locally people know that ki Rajesh and his team, all of these guys are working. But for the people who are not from Hyderabad, who don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, can you just bring us up to the mark with the history of how this came about, how you started running first, when did this all start? Did it start in 2012 itself, 11 itself, or it goes beyond that also?
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep, for this question. I know I've been asked this several times. I've been lucky that I've been supported by a lot of team members at different point of time, whom certain names as we go through this call, we would definitely be mentioning them. It was in my running journey started in 2003. I was to do my first half marathon in 2004 in Mumbai because due to a change in date, I could not attend that event. But in 2005 was my first full marathon in Mumbai.
Oh,
And then that's how my journey started in 2005. It was in 2005-6 that I decided that I'll run the New York Marathon. And finally, I ran it in 2007. Between 2005 and 7, it was interesting. My journey moved from Bangalore to Delhi, Delhi to Hyderabad, in between for some time in Chennai. So it like in Bangalore, we started a group. In Delhi also, we started a local group. So I had this privilege of being associated with quite a few running groups at the beginning of my journey. In 2007, it was 2007 that my family, I had to move my family down to Hyderabad on work and for some personal reasons. So I started the Hyderabad Runners. It was, in those initial days, it was the Google group. We were around 5, 6 people running in KBR Park, and it just went through. And 2007, my dream of running the New York Marathon got realized because that year was reasonably better in terms of my work pressures. And when I ran the New York Marathon, I kind of it just blew my mind away in terms of what the city is and how this entire thing helps in the cause of active lifestyle. And it was like it's one of those very very interesting moments people have in their lives. It can be sometimes when you enter college you have it, sometimes in marriage you have it. So different things. For me, the entire experience of seeing New York on a marathon. I had been to New York a couple of times earlier, but it just completely changed the way how an event like this can be. And it's like, Ganesh Chaturthi in what you organize. And that was how the city came in together. And I came back and I was like, we should organize a marathon. And that was the
so
first
Rajesh,
thing.
let me interrupt you for a moment. So was that your first full marathon, or was it
No, no. I my 2007
Mumbai?
my full marathon 2005, 6, 7. I ran Mumbai
Mumbai.
full, and
Okay,
then
okay,
New York was the fourth full marathon.
okay, okay. Yeah,
So I had run
please
Mumbai
continue.
three times. Mumbai was a different game in those days, starting at 7:30 in the morning with the elite. And after 10:30, it was really struggle because of traffic issues. And then we also had very less people. In fact, the first year, I remember there were no more than 120 people who finished I mean,
Uh,
2005, I remember. And beyond 5 years, beyond 5 hours and 15 minutes, you didn't even get the timing. They had to remove the timing mats after 5 hours, 15 minutes. So
so it
there was
was,
this.
so you mean to say Mumbai in the early years, it was not really the thing that we see now. It was not that much runner friendly for the average runner, you mean?
Runner friendly is there are two things. One is it was interesting. The half marathon used to start before the full marathon, and they used to
Okay.
come back. It was easy. The full marathon used to start at 7:30, and it was I used to speak to the program people and ask them why it was. It was for the live telecast. So the elite
Oh,
start and the amateur start were at the same time, and
okay.
they finish in 9:30 by 9 and what do you call by 9:30 a.m. or 9:45 a.m. And like we used to
Oh,
struggle
imagine.
at 10 o'clock. It used to be difficult in Mumbai. And I mean, imagine trying to complete your marathon by 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon. It
In
was,
Mumbai. Oh,
it is unimaginable. And some of
oh,
those years were very, very hot. It was very hot and humid. It was difficult. So it was a difficult thing. And then those were the days when Pedder Road, both the sides, I don't remember, it was blocked. It was, in fact, some of the times I had to run on the pavement. I mean,
oh.
I think because the fact that there were less number of people. So the first 2, 3 years, I remember like it was difficult. In fact, I remember doing my first half marathon in 2009 or 2010, if I'm not wrong. And then I thought for myself, okay, it's better to do half marathon a few years. And then I moved to half marathon for a few years in Mumbai before I came back in 12, 13 again. So it was difficult actually in those days. And yeah,
So
when I
that is why
came
you
back,
say that that is why you say that you got the first real taste of a well-organized, runner-friendly, and yeah, kind of festive atmosphere and all. You saw that first in New York rather than Mumbai back
oh
then.
yeah, I mean, like there was no comparison. New York by then was almost 35 years old, 38 years old. ING was the sponsor. It was massive in terms of. I never expected that a marathon could be of this kind, and it, it is true that it just opened up my complete mind on what an event or what an experience can be in marathon. And then I thought to myself, I came back to Hyderabad. And I thought we should organize a marathon. Yeah, but this is also part of those initial enthusiasm and everything. So that time there was this 10K foundation which used to conduct a 10K run in Hyderabad in the month of November. So I approached them. I told them, "Say, we've been doing a 10K for almost last 4, 5 years. Can we do a marathon together?" Initially, they were reluctant, and then a lot of pushing and prodding. They agreed to it in the month of, say, I think March or April. And I told them that you help us on the permissions and the financial aspects of it. Rest all from the runner organizing, runner, this thing,
How
everything
many?
we
How
kind.
many? So how many people back then were there in your group, like runners? How many were there in Hyderabad?
So in the first edition, I mean, it was not even time. We were close to around 850 people
No,
with close to
but
100
actual
people.
Hyderabad runners,
In
people who were
Hyderabad
running
run, oh,
regularly.
in Hyderabad runners in 2008 was around 200, 300 people online. It was a small group. So we had some people from the police participate, some people came from outstation. So it was a mix and match of various people. I think the number of full marathon finishers were close to 175 or 200 max, and the rest were all half marathon finishers. So it started at the KBR Park. It was around, if I'm not wrong, August 16th, just a day after the Independence Day, we had it.
So
And
this is you're talking about 2008, right?
that's right, 2008, 2008.
Ah, so we're not yet into the 2011. So there are two
No, no,
different
no, no.
versions of the marathon.
2008.
Okay.
There was Uma, who was from the 10K Foundation, who was of great help to us. And then internally from the Hyderabad runners, there was Gopi, who kind of really stood by me in terms of this entire organizing. We repeated the same in 2009. In 2009, for some reason, 10K Foundation did not want to get into the organizing of. Uh, in 2009 end, they told we don't want to do the full marathon for whatever reason. And then 2010, Hyderabad didn't have a marathon, and that's when Hyderabad runners, few members from our group, I would like to say, Mr. Prasad and then Satish. There were a few people who kind of told that, let's get started with this. Whatever support you want, we will be able to do. And that was the time we decided to do this. We registered as a society in October of 2010, and we started our preparations for the marathon in 2011. And it was a lot of uphill task in terms of getting sponsors, permissions, creating awareness. So there were a lot of challenges in the initial, and that was also the interesting time when Telangana agitation was at its peak for an independent state.
Oh,
So everything, I think, Sandeep, sometimes I think that, a lot of entrepreneurs and all this, they all take decisions which sometimes seem irrational or something. I don't know what made us, I don't know, I don't want to call it irrational, but it was a very entrepreneurial effort from the group, the initial group from Hyderabad runners, who decided that, oh, let's put together a marathon. Just with 35,000 rupees, we started this event, and we kind of pulled through. Uh, I mean, it was an amazing thing. It seemed right for all the runners, but behind the scenes, as a race director, what and all can go wrong. And
Yes.
there was this whole list of things. I mean, like, for example, we believe that volunteers will turn up, let alone turn up. 90% dropout of volunteers. We had only 10%. And I remember calling runners' families on the way and telling them, please, there's an aid station, come and man the aid station.
And you're talking about now 2011, right? The first phase.
2011, yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
no, interesting, there were, you'll be shocked to know that, I saw some of the aid stations, people were coming and taking the water bottles and going away. Some people who were walkers and everything. I mean, like, it was a very, very tough experience. And after the run, when we got together, a lot of us were not sure whether we want to continue this, what to do. It was very difficult. And then
But let me tell you, thank God you did, because in the very next year I came down in 2012,
yeah, yeah.
and I had none of this experience. I had a fabulous time, superb route support, very well managed traffic,
Yes.
cheering was excellent. In fact, that was the very thing that made me think, what happened to you with New York Marathon? So
Yes.
for me, Hyderabad did that,
That's
and
right.
that is what made me come back and put the finishing touches on Satara and add all those things which I saw and learned from Hyderabad. So see how things go.
Yes, yes. Not only you, it's interesting. 2011, a lot of people came from Chennai and they
Uh,
went back and told they're going to organize a Chennai Marathon. And in
wow.
2012, January, the first Chennai Marathon happened. And we were there, we were supporting it, happened in the IIT campus. And then after that, it was Satara. You kind of did it. I remember coming down for the route recce. I remember you telling me that, Rajesh, whatever it takes, you need to come for the event. Due to work commitment, I wouldn't come for the event, but I came in earlier. And
Yes.
I don't remember the hotel where I was put up. It's a small hotel, and then we went in the morning with you and a couple of people. I remember a couple of your hospital staff. I think I had the names immediately. They came and your wife also was there in that entire journey. We went,
Yes.
and so the first thing I told is the idea of having the hill going up and coming down is the best thing. But will you get the permission from the authorities? You told no, I'll manage. That
And
was
we
the
did manage with good friends in my team. We went to
yeah.
the SP of police and the collector, and
That's
Mr.
right.
Ramaswamy sir, who was collector back then, Prasanna sir. So all these things just came together. Good people meeting them at the right time, and all of this happened. Yeah.
Absolutely. I
So
remember.
Rajesh, would that be the first? So would Hyderabad runners be the first running community to organize an organized marathon in India? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be?
see, it is interesting. In 2010, actually, after seeing their 8 and 9 edition, there was Ahmedabad
Oh,
Runners Group. They organized the Sabarmati Ashram
oh,
run in 2010. It was around December.
okay.
And then after that, it got discontinued because of some issues between the members of the group, and there were some legal cases. So they discontinued.
So only one
So,
edition. Only one edition happened.
yeah, and then they stopped. They stopped.
Oh, okay.
So I would say that that was the first, to the best of my knowledge and having uh, gone all over India, that was the first group we organized, but it did not sustain. After 2010, they did not organize. It was in 2010 December. I remember going to Ahmedabad. It was a very beautiful
So
medal with Gandhi's. I'll just show you that medal. Wait.
yeah, yeah. And before I forget, Rajesh, let me quickly tell you something, because you happen to be the person who knows so many other things of the things that most of the runners today won't know. Uh, I would like it very much if you could make up your mind and write a book about all this. The history
Oh, thank you, sure.
yeah, the history of
This
the
was,
running community in India.
yeah, sure, Sandeep. I would definitely do something of that kind with your inspiration, support, you having done. I would definitely learn from you and then do it.
Yeah, it's very much required, because these things have to be put on record. 25 years, 50 years, and 100 years down the line. Today we are celebrating the 100th year next year, 100th edition of the Comrades.
That's right.
So we are now old people already. So not very long.
No, no,
But we
sure.
have to
I
put it on
guess
record.
these are chances. This year was one of it, recollecting all the people who were part of the journey. It was a time to pay gratitude to all the people from the sponsors, the government authorities, like how you had mentioned of the police, specific name, Mr. C.V. Anand, and then we had the municipal commissioner, Mr. Krishna Babu. They were amazing support. We had a share of differences on certain things, but then finally, it could have not been possible without them. And as I talk to you today, one of the senior most police officers who passed away, his name was Dora. He was like a pillar for us in the initial days in
Oh,
terms of putting everything together. He just passed away yesterday, and I was there today at the funeral. It just brought back a lot of memories. But for a person like him, it wouldn't have been possible to pull off, especially as I told you, the Telangana agitation was at its peak. To organize a run at that time, it was really thanks to the support of so many people who kind of were on this entire thing.
I remember because the traffic in such a big city, huge city, I remember specifically at the traffic junctions where we had to cross, and the police were out in numbers and they were making the traffic stop, and we felt like so special. I had never imagined that in a big city like Hyderabad in India, I will be running. And another good memory for me is that it was so hot that took off my shirt, back. So I have my photos from there, my bare chested run, first and last actually. So
Okay.
this year, in fact, I was thinking when I come down to, if and when I most likely I'll come down and run my Hyderabad. And now recently I'm also into bodybuilding a bit. Last 3 4 years I've been. So I think I'll just to make a comparison photo, I'll run shirtless at least for some time.
Sure,
It
sure.
was
I'm sure good memories. We will look forward to and having those pictures. The 15th year, it'll be very interesting for all of us, and it'll be another chapter in your book.
so yeah. So what's special? Let me ask you on behalf of the runners and everyone. I'm also very curious. So for the 15th year, uh, is something special being done? Is it something cooking? Or what is it? What is the
Yeah, this is one year which we want to first thank all our people. That is the most important thing. So our journey from now, this first webinar, as I recollect the journey, and so many people who have been part of it, we would like to kind of pay our gratitude and a tribute to all the people, the runner, the city, the organizers, the core team members, the race directors who have been part of this journey. Everybody is so important. It's important, as you said, write a book. If not write a book, at least we should recognize the efforts of everybody and how the city has come together to support and create this entire event. So that's the first thing. So how do we go about it? It starts with the runner. We've always taken pride in the fact that this event is by the runners, of the runners, and for the runners. And so what do we do? So with the runner, we've been doing a lot of work on various aspects. At this stage, as I talk to you, we have listed out who are the people who have done more than 10 editions, the half and the full marathon. And we have got in touch with some of them, and we want to start recognizing them in this entire journey of our Hyderabad Marathon. And from now, we want to create awareness of the people who have run these so many number of editions. We are reaching out to runners to share their memories. There are so many things which we would have missed out, like how you were so nice to kind of tell so many of your interesting things. We want to capture all this. So there's a runner's story. That's one. The next thing is how we are engaging with the city to see how and what we can do with the city apart from creating. Hyderabad Runners has been started off with to help lead people lead active lifestyles. So we want to work with the city in terms of creating more awareness on the importance of active lifestyle with the city authorities and various parks and all this. We are actually trying to work out to get the city.
you've been doing that already for the past so many years. I've been following you and trying to learn from how you guys operate. How Hyderabad runs operates. You have your children's runs, you have your weekend runs, training runs. So many initiatives that are out there on your website also, and it's really amazing the things that you have done for the community here.
Yes, Sandeep, I think what we do in the 51 weeks makes the 52nd week, which is the marathon. So it's important that we do what we're doing in terms of advocacy training, in terms of stakeholder relationship management, everything through the year. So now this year, one of the things which we are looking at, apart from improving the entire runner experience and what it is, I mean, it's a matter of thing. Also, I would like to caution the runners that there's a bit of construction going on in terms of it's like one of the challenges of urban development. On the route, we have a few flyovers coming on that, but we are sure now we're not going to add any more new flyovers to the route. But that's something which would be a small kind of issue which would face. But we are confident that the city authorities would support us through this entire journey. That's one. From a runner, we want to see how it is. And then the other thing is the race has become big enough that the 10K, 21 and 42, between them, we are trying to see how the 21 and 42 distance can be improved much further. So we're going to have a slightly different finishing point for the 10K, and the 21 and 42 will be given that importance in terms of what it is. That is one. Then we realize in the 15-year journey, which you also, Sandeep, realized that we have come to a stage where now amateurs in India are doing extremely well. It's been a matter of pride with Dr. Karthik, who is a doctor and
Ah,
who came
indeed.
first in Mumbai and Delhi this year, and he's selected to the Asian Games. So we are trying to see how there is this category of sub-elite who have done between 2:30 and 3. We want to do a special start for them and give them a special
Oh,
preference in
wow.
terms of this. That is something which we want to do for the runners.
Wow.
And so on route, everything would be there. And we are trying to work with our various sponsors to see what more we can do with the runners in terms of their experience or any reward and recognition. So this is from a runner experience. So there's going to be a lot of runner focus in terms of the experience, in terms of the entire history of it. So that's one. The next important thing which we would look at is the city per se. As I told you, apart from creating awareness, we want to seriously work with the city to see what more can be done for the marathon in terms of it. And we are hoping that we want to create as much awareness so that the city people come out, cheer, be part of it rather than taking their vehicle out. Create awareness. So there's a team especially engaging on the city interaction and everything. That's
So
one.
the route remains largely the same as it has been all these
Yeah,
years.
yes, yes.
So Gachibowli Stadium.
As I talk to you now and to the entire thing, we have been in touch with the city authorities, and unless there is a major shutdown in that particular part of the route, we might at least get one side of the road to take the people through.
So
So
start and finish will be Gachibowli Stadium as usual.
start is the People's Plaza, finish is Gachibowli Stadium for all the
Oh,
thing.
People's Plaza and Gachibowli. Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
the lake area is what you call People's Plaza,
yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right. People's
Around the lake. Yeah.
That's right. We are also doing one more thing, the idea of inclusive running. So for the first time, we are going to be introducing a wheelchair race for the 5K on Saturday. This is the first time we are planning to do this. So we are working with various wheelchair participants to see what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. We want to take their entire thing back to the city authority so we get the requisite support for that. That is also important. So at some point of time, Sandeep, as you know, in your experience, we have to get the race as inclusive as possible with all sections. We might not be able to do completely for the half and the full, but we want to see how we can do at least for the 10K or the 5K. And at some point of time in the route which get is reasonably flat, probably we might get there in terms of introducing the wheelchair categories for the 21 and 42 also. But that's a long journey, nothing immediately. So we are definitely looking at a nice T-shirt, a nice medal, which we're working with some designer to do this entire thing, which will be a landmark event. Over and above this, we are going to be giving out to the runner the 15th year edition, something we want to do something for the runner, which at this moment, I wouldn't want to disclose, but probably look at through this.
Yes. So my first and the second Hyderabad Marathon, both are going to be very special for me, especially. So I'm very excited. Not been running so much recently because of many reasons, but now I'm very much looking forward to starting running and starting my training for Hyderabad.
Thank you, Sandeep, and you've been a great pillar of support. As I tell my journey, also it's so important to tell what Satara means. I did tell you always that Satara for me was a lesson in history before I came in. When under doctrine of lapse, it was annexed. That was
Yes.
what. And then when I came there, and when you talked about it, I took the first chance to come there, and then I had the privilege of running 2, 3 editions, and have visited the city so many times. The entire planning outlook of how you had approached it is so phenomenal, down to the fact that your races get sold in just 24 hours, down to this idea of a Guinness Book of World Records. It's all good, and I'm sure, Sandeep, that apart from any religious event, your event is the biggest community event for the city of Satara. And
Yes, yes,
congratulations
indeed.
to you and your team on what you do and the experience you've created around it.
Thank you so much. You've been out there right from the beginning, and I also hope to see you come down as a
Yes, I will be there.
as a yeah as a rest and relaxation after your event. The next weekend you can come down, please. And
If
so we've already given an idea about this, but let me probably announce this officially for the first time on this webinar that we are again going to go for the Guinness World Record this year.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
yeah, so we're going to break our own record, which we set in 2017. In 2000, we did it for the first time in 15, then in 16, and again in 17. So the last time we did it, it was 4,801 runners.
Okay.
So we've been having close to around 7,000 finishers now for the last 2 years almost.
And
So
7,000 it's half only. You should tell it as a matter of pride. 7,000 half marathoners.
half marathons, yeah, yeah. So so hopefully we set a new Guinness record, and the participants also get to become a part of something big for themselves. Yeah,
So,
this time.
so I don't know if you're aware, Sandeep, if you remove Mumbai and probably the Vedanta Delhi,
Delhi.
you're the largest half marathon in the country, and congratulations to you.
Yes,
There's a
yes, yes.
small
We
place
know
which
that. Thank you.
Satara could do this.
Thank you so much. Yes. It's like it feels like a dream sometimes, but the dream goes on. The dream run
Yeah,
goes on.
that's right. I agree with you.
So, Rajesh, where do we stand in terms of numbers for the Hyderabad full now? Because I believe it's a very good number already.
So
Full.
at one stage we were close to 2,000 plus. After COVID, we
Oh,
just came down. Last year we had around close to around 18, 1750 finishes, if I'm not wrong.
that's
1750.
that's such an amazing number because there's two reasons. Firstly, because the route itself is quite challenging. It's an up and down route, and it's a fun route, but it's challenging and it's really satisfying to run a full marathon. So if you say I've done the Hyderabad full marathon, it's a matter of pride.
Yes,
Uh,
agreed.
so that is one. And secondly, i- in spite of it being such a difficult thing to do, the atmosphere, the camaraderie that you find out over there in Hyderabad, now it's like no other event. I've not done very many full marathons actually. I've done just about a dozen or so. Uh, in fact, 6 or 7 of them out of India. So in India, most of the others are like Mumbai only I've done. So Mumbai is very good. It's a unique experience, it's a totally different thing.
That's right.
But Hyderabad my full marathon is in a league of its own, I might say. So Hyderabad and Mumbai are the only two events, in my opinion. Of course, Mumbai is now gone way beyond. Like I think it's 10,000 plus full marathon finishers. Is that?
I think, yeah, this time I think they crossed 10,000 this time, if I'm
Yeah.
not.
So that's an amazing that Mumbai has done, obviously. But Hyderabad, in my knowledge, it's difficult to get even into 3 digits when it comes to full marathons. So especially for volunteer organized events, 3 digits and 4 digits is like almost I don't know if any other event does more than 1,000 full marathon finishers in India. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 1,800 full marathon finishers which Hyderabad gets is an amazing number.
Yes, I do agree that I mean Mumbai is way ahead of all of us in terms of it because the city and the history and definitely they kind of do. It's very different. The city itself makes it what it is, an aspiration. The name Mumbai
Yes,
kind of makes
yes.
people. So we would love to get to that aspirational thing at some point of time. Now today, apart from Hyderabad, Chennai has introduced a 30 miler. So between them, they do cross that numbers between 1,800 or something there to come together. Then the other city, the NMDC, this is not the NMDC, sorry, the National Marathon in Delhi. No, that's also cost 2,000, if I'm not wrong, last year. They've also crossed that numbers.
1,000, you
Otherwise,
mean 1,000? There are 1,000 plus runners now. Yeah.
yeah, no, in fact, National Marathon is, if I'm not wrong, it's close to 2,000 plus they have
Ah,
reached.
very good.
So, because of two reasons. One is
Flat,
the
yeah.
fact that
It's a
flat,
flat and fast route.
and then February month, the weather is very good in Delhi, and that's when they've come in. So
Ah,
it's good that these events happen because each of the event kind of makes you work harder to improve your entire thing. So it's also about, as you know, Sandeep, that rough count of the total number of full marathon finishes in India, no more than uh, 18,000, if I'm not wrong, from what I look at the major races. But unique, if you talk of unique finishers, it'll be much lesser because I know many people doing multiple races in India.
very true. Yes.
So unique finishes are very less. So it's still a small
Long
number.
way to go. Yeah. Very long
Yeah.
way to go when it comes to full marathon and serious amateur runners.
Absolutely. So I think it'll happen. Have that pool, everything. It's just a question how the races can create that atmosphere and the training for this. And I think we will get there. Suddenly you will see an uptick. Like Mumbai this year, suddenly it kind of crossed 10,000 numbers. For long they were around 7,000, 8,000, and now it's
Yes.
crossed the 11,000 mark. So it'll be there for everybody to kind of do this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important that we give more priority to all the people from our country in terms of how we can do this entire thing, actually, you know.
Yes. Yes. So for events that are organized by a community, a running community, Hyderabad obviously it stands as a shining beacon of a well organized event. So hats off to you and your team for doing this consistently for so many years, and all the best for your 15th edition.
Yeah, thank you. So there are some questions. One is
Yeah.
promote. Balaji has been telling, please promote the marathon in schools and colleges. It's actually interesting, Sandeep, that I came across this program known as Students Run Los Angeles (SRLA),
Uh-huh.
and it's just mind blowing as to how the students have come forward to run the event and being trained to become part of it for multiple reasons. And it's that phenomenal thing, the way the Gen Zs and this thing are developing now in
So
terms
what
of this.
distance? What distance are these?
The full marathon only. The students run Los Angeles Marathon is it's a full
Oh,
marathon, all 16, 18 plus. So in many places in US, participation in a full marathon is 16 years or 17 years. So
oh.
they kind of pushing forward. That's something which we would look. I We are trying to work with schools and with colleges. We have had very limited success, but definitely we look at it. And then somebody is asking for the challenge of route of 42. Manik Pandey is asking us, what is it, the challenging route of 42 kilometers? Manik, it will be the same route. The information will be available on the net and you can see it. And the weather. So it's interesting that we organized a run in the last Sunday of August, which is just around the end of monsoon. In the last 14 editions, except 1 or 2 years, we've had reasonably good weather all through by Indian standards. So our start weather is around 21, 22, and when we finish, it's 26, 27. And the humidity ranges from anything, it sometimes starts at 60, 70%, and then it comes down through the day. That's what
So
the
how much,
weather.
Rajesh? How much is the actual elevation gain for the Hyderabad full marathon?
It's close to around 350.
Okay,
350.
350.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just about how much we have in our half marathon. So,
Yes, yes.
it's a very tough full marathon also by any standards, of course.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But you know what is interesting? Our elevation is more or less similar, or a little bit, plus or minus that of New York and many other events which they are
Oh,
there. Yes, yes, they
so
are
we
there.
don't really come around to discuss that ever. So New York, other than Heartbreak Hill, which comes towards the end
No, that's
say
Boston.
Boston,
Boston is
in
heartbreak. New
Boston.
York,
So Boston is supposed to be a flat one, but only with the Heartbreak Hill that comes in the end. But New York, you're saying it's got a
yeah,
considerable elevation.
New York has got two, three, the Queensboro Bridge and this bridge and that bridge. They've got
Oh,
around three bridges which they are going through, and in the starting itself, the Verrazano Bridge which it starts, so it goes on. There's a very nice incline which you cannot imagine what it is like.
oh, so it's a
Yeah.
tough one, huh? And still they have like 40,000, 50,000 plus runners for the
Oh,
full
this time
marathons.
60,000, 59,000 change. You had full marathon finishers in New York this time.
And that also it's
59,000.
difficult to get into it, right?
Oh yeah, it's very tough to get entry into the New York Marathon, and it's very highly in demand. I had the
So,
privilege of being an observer this time. It's so beautifully and so very well organized in terms of what it is.
so we have a long way to go, and together we will get there. Yeah.
Sure.
So, any questions we have here? Let me see.
I'm just looking at the chat box.
Yes.
The posting, our team is looking at and posting the questions. Sandeep, as we keep getting the questions, I just wanted to ask you on your entire thing on the running journey post 2012 and what it is. What are the challenges which you see for endurance sport, city organizing? I'm sure that as a fellow organizer, I know we discuss these issues, but it'll be nice for the running community to know what that challenges are there, because runners today are becoming very, very, conscious. Sometimes you call it a little bit difficult to deal with because their expectations are very high of the events. So how do we kind of uh, set the expectations for the running community due to the challenges which we face as organizers?
So, I think the major aspect. What is that question of anybody? Okay, okay, yeah. So I think the runners it, now, especially because of the social media, what happens is that whatever is good about an event, it goes out. on the social media immediately. Whatever is bad, whatever is not up to the expectations, that goes out at 10 times that speed. You know, and
Yeah,
it only
bad
takes
news.
one.
Bad
You know,
news travels like fire.
yeah, and it only takes one disgruntled runner, and if it happens to be an influencer, or maybe if the running community leader who is not happy with an event, then it becomes it doesn't take much time to gather into a, very precarious situation, like a storm it becomes. So it is difficult for as an organizer, especially because we put so much of our hearts into it. As organizers ourselves, we are ourselves runners first, and then we think of ourselves as organizers. So that makes us, makes events like Hyderabad and Satara stand out, because we put our heart and soul into it. We put the runner at the center of the universe, our universe, the event. For us, that is the most important part. But then still, sometimes some things are not up to the expectation. Like I remember 2 or 3 years ago, our breakfast, it was a special issue of discussion. So it's never easy to satisfy runners. Everything is okay, everything is on par. The route was nice, support was excellent, everything's fine. But at the end, why did you give this breakfast? So that we event had this, and you can also have that. So everything cannot really be copy pasted from everywhere. So especially about Hyderabad, you remember I asked you 2 or 3 years back, how do you guys give that piping hot breakfast that you are well known for, the sambar and vada, and I think idli, that kind of breakfast? I would also love to give it here in Satara. We tried it once. We managed with the idli, but we'll not be able to come around to do that. So if you do that, for example, even if you do that, then people say only carbs, only carbs. What about protein? Give us some protein also. So in 1 year, we ended up giving eggs also.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But then putting eggs there out there, vegetarian people got offended. Wow, you're keeping eggs. So many things to take care of, and we cannot really cover everything. Something goes
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
So just to tell you on the breakfast alone, Sandeep, just to kind of that is always a set of my team members. They say that, you know, there's this small peak time of 45 minutes to 1 hour where there are queues and it gets difficult. So how do we address this peak issue is always a challenge when the runners are coming, all that. So
Especially a fresh breakfast. If it's not
absolutely.
pre-packaged,
Yes.
that is what is the issue.
Yes. So what we have been doing is we are now last year we moved it to an outer track to give more space. But there have been challenges trying to get to. I've been speaking to the caterers what more can be done to kind of fix this issue so that you don't have problems in this thing. So they're working out different ways and means. But I think what I would personally do this time is to give that expectation. This time what I would do is wherever the breakfast center, I'm going to put like how we put it in Disneyland, wait time is 10 minutes, wait time is
Oh,
15 minutes. You just put that so that, then they would realize that, okay, they want to go inside or they want to wait outside. I think we should do something. It's about communicating this entire thing.
okay, okay.
Those are some useful lessons which I keep coming. It's been coming from my visits and some a few events. So there are queues. People need to wait. Um, the runner is tired. It's true that he's the main key stakeholder, but somewhere we should set that expectation that please wait or put them in this thing. So that's something which we need to create awareness that breakfast time waiting is 15 minutes so that they consciously decide to sit somewhere and not go there. Or when if it can be done, then we will be successful in that improving that runner focus. And there's this other problem because of queues, they tend to put more food and they cannot eat and it gets wasted. So,
Oh,
so
yes.
that's also another challenge, which there was this observation from our team and the caterer who are telling. And some people have been telling, hot breakfast is difficult. You start giving packed breakfast. But then I have to face this challenge from the sustainability team, which is telling that, you can't keep using so much of plastic, waste disposal. So I have a strong sustainability lead. It's like I tell him every time, the most sustainable event is the event which has never happened. So, so we are doing it. So how best can we do this? And he says this time we should make it a carbon neutral event. He's very pushy, Mr. Venkat and his team. He's so passionate about this and he just kind of pushes us beyond all this. So we have to balance sometimes his own internal struggles, managing the runner expectations.
That
So
that thing also happens about the water on the route support. That always comes up every year. So
yes.
whether we should keep plastic bottles, which is handy for the runners, And if we keep the small glasses, then they got pitchco, then they become soft. So they cannot pick it up. And if you keep
So
bottles, then the runners, they just throw it on the road, throw it into the valleys, especially in Satara, that
that's right.
eco sensitivity is very high. So it's
Yeah.
always a catch-22 situation in
So
these
we have
matters.
always used cups, Sandeep. Only at the finish we give the bottles because suddenly we have 8 to 10,000 people and we just can't manage the cups. So we give them the bottle. That's the only instance where we use the bottle.
That
Uh,
makes sense. At the finish line, obviously bottles, but on the route, what to do is always that question.
The
Yeah.
cups, that's the only thing.
Yes. Yes.
Because I
Eco
think
sensitive.
that's the only best way forward. And trust me, I've seen almost all the races abroad and your world majors, many things. The
Yes.
most ideal thing is putting the cups and doing it. And our sustainability team is able to work it out that the cups are disposed properly, the plastic is removed. So they're doing a very good job on that actually.
Oh, yes.
One more thing as we talk, Manohar from Mumbai says, please form a pan-India body which governs the business of road racing. Manohar, thanks. I'm sure that's something which we as organizers, we would
Exactly.
definitely
We were
look
discussing
at
that
this.
the other day, I think. Yes.
Yes, we want to look at this and do this. Hopefully, in this year, with the support of fellow organizers, we would want to see that something of this materializes. So there is standards for road races,
Yeah, we have
runners.
been working. We have been working on that aspect here in Maharashtra locally a few years back. Actually, it was before the COVID thing. Many of the organizers all over Maharashtra, we had come together and we were trying to put it together. So let us now, maybe it's time to revive that movement and also join it to the Pan India team all over India.
That's right. It's very important. It's good for us because then for the runner, for the organizer, for the sponsor, for the city, everybody becomes clear on what you can do and what you cannot do and what to promise. It becomes a proper industry by itself. It is good for everybody at large.
And new organizers especially can benefit from the experience of seniors like you.
That's right. That's
Because
right. We've been
we can
lucky,
help
like
them.
how you came in. We have had people from last year we had friends from Tirupur, some small places. They came, they saw how we are organizing it. They wanted to go back. And I think that entire idea of knowledge sharing and mentorship is so important because if every city's run becomes good, it's very interesting. I had this interesting experience this year at a place known as Chonburi in Thailand. It is organized by one Mr. Rutt and his company. The entire town is just around 30-40,000 population. They organize 3 events in a year, and every time it's 12,500 for 10K, 12,500 for half, and then 12,500 for full. The entire town is so full and so much economic impact. And the city mayor is so supportive, the people are supportive, the hotels stand to benefit. Very small place with 30,000 people. They've been able to do this 3 times. They bring it. In fact, the world's only platinum half marathon happens in that place in Thailand. And I'm
Oh,
stunned as what is possible. And that's one more thing is they have mass sports participation association, and they work with the government and various things. There have been some useful lessons which I've come across from there and other places, and would love to work with all the fellow organizers
yes.
and can
So
put
that
this
that,
together.
that is why it becomes all the more important that we come together and we put up our issues up to the government, local governments, and also the state and the central government, and then create an atmosphere where organizing road races becomes practical and feasible, and we learn from each other. And so many other roadblocks are also there. We have to work hand in hand and also join forces with the Athletic Federation of India
That's right. So I'm
because there
sure
are
that
some
we have
issues
lot
that
of
had to be sorted
people.
on
We
that
have to
front.
get them on board.
Yeah. And remove all the misconceptions and misunderstandings and work together as a team because this is all for the good of the community, the nation. Everyone becomes healthier, fitter, and that is what the government is also serious about. Anyways,
Like you're a doctor, even setting those medical standards and all these are very important for our management of the route. We have to
yes,
develop, I mean, every city is working hard to see that runner has a safe run, but trying to set out a protocols system nationwide is good for us and good for everybody, the runner, and he or she is assured. We have been lucky that across races, except for a few races where there's been this unfortunate casualty,
yeah,
everybody's been lucky. But I would say
yeah,
that with increasing number of participation, we should take more care, and safety of
yeah.
the runner is the
So
first
yeah,
priority.
so it's not a question of if, it's only a question of when something will happen, and we have to be on our toes all the time. and learn from the past experiences. Yes,
Yes, yes.
it's very important. Otherwise, it gets a bad name. 10,000 people running and becoming fitter uh, on the one hand, and one unfortunate incident on the other hand, once in 10 years, that
Yes.
gets bad press. Yeah.
We have to fight this out saying that, runners are also mortal. It's just that, it's not like, the number of people who would have died in that city that day would have been more than 100. But that one runner gets.
Sitting in their chairs, watching that very marathon on TV, maybe.
Yeah, yes, that's right. So one death is a cause of concern for everybody, which is understandable. But then this entire myth around this, we have to start educating people that it's not. And it's also important that from an Indian perspective, what it is, how it needs to come out, we need to take the help of the medical fraternity. Like we have so many doctors like you who have been part of this running system, and we need to bring out better guidelines,
So,
safer running.
like I always say, the obesity pandemic that we are facing as a nation is 10 times, it's 100 times more serious than something like Corona.
Yes, yes.
It's huge. We have a question, I think. This one, a 21-year-old runner, Tejas Nambiar, asking whether, what is that?
One should even think of attempting a 42 because 21 in Hyderabad is already particularly different. So, Tejas, my suggestion to anybody about a full marathon is like this. I tell that you have run the half marathon and you feel so good that the mind should tell Tejas that you could have done a full marathon. Till then, don't do a full marathon. This is my suggestion to anybody. So you need to train well. I remember very well. I'm sure Sandeep also. Sandeep was lucky he did in 4 5 months. My first full marathon, I trained for close to 18 months to do my first full marathon. Now, because there are so many events, everybody thinks that doing a full marathon is like so easy. But full marathon is not something advisable if you have not trained, if you're young. It's important to put those training miles, experience, and have that full great experience of running a full marathon.
Yeah, and
What do you
otherwise,
say,
just
Sandeep?
scrolling to the finish, it looks good on screen. It makes for good viewing, but it's not a good experience. So you
Yes.
should be able to finish at least somewhat strongly, and that is only when you should attempt.
The satisfaction should be for yourself and not for the others, not the social media or on any other thing. It's for yourself.
Not for bragging rights, but train well. And 21, he's talking about the age, I think. Is he 21 years old also? So
Someone
21,
running the 21, I would like to
not
know.
21 only,
Yeah,
kilometers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's once again, I would like to thank you, Sandeep, for this entire conversation, which rekindled a whole lot of things uh, in our event, your event, working together, and the issues which we face as organizers, and how we can work with the runners. And it's so important that this year we would like to really take all the people who have been on a journey, once again revisit them and see what can be done and how we can kind of look at this entire experience for this year.
So it's about all about gratitude for the people who helped us create our events, bring them into
Yes.
existence. And it's also about gratitude for all the good things that happened because of running in our lives.
Yes, it brought us together for a different thing. It's a passion activity. Trying to create this community around a passion is so important, and we've been lucky with so many
Yeah.
of my members, my marathon core team, my officers, my past race directors, everybody, Sunil, Prasad, Murali, Abhijit, Prashant, all of them. My current race assistant race directors, Madhu and Shubham, the entire staff at Hyderabad, and it's like just as I told you, Sandeep, we not only institutionalized running, we proud to tell you that we have an office of 6 to 8 members now working full time, and not only on the marathon, but for also in terms of creating awareness on active lifestyle and advocacy around this. So we are looking at taking this to the next stage in terms of how we can create today as a nation, we discussed that, it's inactivity is the biggest problem. It's not heart problems, it's not cardio, it's not,
Yes.
arthritis, anything. It's simple. It's just inactivity. And how do we
Sitting
reduce?
in one place and not moving about is the biggest problem. And marathons are the best way to get people moving
Yes, thank you.
for a
Thank you.
tangible target, which also looks good on social media.
That's right. I completely agree with the importance of activity, which human Homo sapiens have evolved. Has the current day modern life has completely made you inactive. Automation, automobile, mobile phones. Now you have your blankets, you have your all other things. So they don't want you to move at all. So please, it's important that you start moving. That's the
And
most
USA
important.
and the Western countries like USA, they realized that in the 70s, because that was the time that the obesity pandemic began there.
Yeah,
And now
that's
50 years hence, we are sitting on that very possibility of a pandemic of obesity in India now.
And
So it's time to get moving.
the difference between them and the thing is our population is huge, 1.4 billion, and theirs is hardly some 180 or 200 million, whatever it is. So for us, it's a much larger issue
Actual
than
number of
rather.
people, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's a very good point you raised. So counting the number of actual people who are obese right now, even in India, we are possibly more in number, because diabetes, we already are the capital of the world.
yeah, I
So also
know.
obesity, I guess we have the most number of obese people already, and not only in urban areas, also in rural areas. In my area,
Yes, yes,
literally every other person, if not the uh, uh, every third person, if not the every second person, is now like 100 kgs and 105 and 120 kgs overweight.
yes. That's why they've had digital weighing machines, because the earlier analog weighing machine used to stop at 108, if you remember
Yes,
at the
yes.
moment. Now
So
we
it's
have
it's
digital weighing machines which can go up even beyond 108.
so it's time to get moving and continue the movement
Yeah.
together.
Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for this entire conversation. Thanks to all the
Thank you so
people who
much.
have been with us. Thanks to all the people who have posed the questions to us. And we look forward to having you all at this. Shiv, stop it.
Recording stop it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Nice. I think it was just about 1 hour. I think yes.
Yeah, correct. Correctly 1 hour, 5.